So evaluating logarithms. Logarithms are to find exponents. So when we're evaluating logarithm, what we're doing is finding the exponent that would make the association true. For this first one, it's log base 3 of 729. So what we want to do is write that in more familiar terms. 3 to the power of what equals 729. Now, I can just go on my calculator and I can go 3 to the power of, 5 equals 243. That's not quite enough. But if I went one more times 3, then that would work. So I know that 3 to the power of 6 equals 729. Therefore, the evaluation of log base 3 of 729 equals 6. That's my answer. I'm looking for the exponent. The exponent is my answer. This one's a little more complicated because when I write it out, 4 to the power of what equals 1 over 32, you're not going to get 4 times 4 times 4 equals 32. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. We missed it. So what we need to do is see if we can make 4 a smaller base. And we can because 4 is 2 squared. So I would write, I still want it in the power of 4 so that I can answer my question, but I know that 4 equals 2 squared, so 2 equals 4 to the power of a half. And I can put 2 in terms of something to the power of to get to 32. So I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to go 4 to the power of a half to the power of what equals 1 over 32. Because all I'm really doing is getting 4 to the power of something that equals this. Now I can see that this is an inverse relation, it's an inverse relationship, so this is going to be a negative number. It's going to be a negative a half, or a negative question mark. So now, remembering that this equals 2, 2 to the power of what equals 32? I can use my calculator, or you can use the fact that your book uses the same numbers repeatedly, and you'll eventually get to learn some of them. 2 to the power of 5. So this is 2. I'm going to put it to the power of 5. So 4 to the power of a half to the negative power of 5 equals 1 over 32. Now, I need to evaluate this as just one power. So I'm just going to multiply through, because when I raise an exponent to an exponent, I multiply those, and it becomes 4 to the power of negative 5 over 2 equals 1 over 32. Now, I could check that in my calculator by typing in 4 to the power of bracket, negative 5 over 2, close bracket, equals, and seeing if that equals the same thing as 1 divided by 32. But the fact of the matter is, log base 4 of 1 over 32 equals negative 5 over 2. So this is my answer. The exponent is the answer. Moving on to the last one, we've got a root now. So that's ugly. It's kind of messy. What we want to do to start with is try to write it out as simply as possible. So we take our base, 2. Our base is 2. To the power of something equals the cube root of 4. And since we're dealing with powers, we want to put things in powers with common bases if we can, which is where your last unit came in. So in your last unit, you would have recognized that 4 is actually 2 squared, so I can write 2 to the power of what equals the cube root of 2 squared, and then I can change this so that this is 2 to the power of what equals 2 to the power of 2 over 3, because any power that's outside here, any root, becomes the denominator of a fraction exponent. So what we've got here is just that 2 to the power of what equals 2 to the power of, they're both the same base, they're to the power of, so the question mark is 2/3. Therefore, I can write log base 2 of the cube root of 4 equals 2 over 3, because this is my answer. The exponent is the answer. Yay!